Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
We're crowning a new king, everybody.
We're crowning something.
The king is dead. Long live the king.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to the First Dibs podcast.
Yes. From inside Porsche, Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
I'm Justin.
I'm John.
And we have some guests tonight.
Welcome, guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
Should we just get right into it?
I may as well. It looks like there's a lot to cover.
I think so.
I wish the people could see our wickedly sweet setup we have going on in our studio right
Isn't
now.
that crazy? I know. Yeah.
You tell me when, and I'm going to throw our little your PC up there. But if you guys don't mind, if you could introduce yourselves and tell us where you're from.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Marty Kier, and I took over the lead editor position for issue 9.
Issue 9 of
Shift, Colorado.
Awesome.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And just came down from Lakewood, Colorado. So
fantastic. Welcome. Well, thanks, Marty.
And Marty's been on before, and Jake,
Yes.
it's your first time with us, I believe.
Yeah, I'm Jake Lano. This is my first Shift Colorado issue as an editor, so that was pretty exciting.
Awesome. Yeah.
Very, very fun. Yeah, I'm totally amazed that you guys haven't fizzled out, and neither have we. the amount that we talk about every time, but the amount of effort that goes into all of this is just incredible. And so super cool. Marty, congratulations on doing your own first, being the editor-in-chief for one. And Jake, welcome.
Yes.
To be in the big time, huh?
Yeah.
I guess, or something like that. I don't know what it is.
I got a promotion, but no raise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Well, no, it was hilarious because like Jake was putting in a lot of time on the magazine, and I'm like, why isn't this guy an editor yet? So so glad it was brought up eventually, and we got him in. So
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting change. Just gets me behind the scenes a little bit more. So
Yeah.
So what's the difference between like being a contributor and being an editor?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously the workload goes up a little bit. You're expected to do as much as you can to help the magazine succeed. So a lot more time involved, and you get to call the shots a little bit more. So
there's a lot
that's the
more
main
behind
difference.
the scenes work too. Like we
Okay.
communicate with Discord and
Yeah.
having to organize people in Discord, and it's like wrangling cats, honestly, when you're
can
dealing with
be.
a bunch of volunteers.
Sure.
So do you guys get to pick the fonts?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes it all worth it, right? I think Comic Sans all the way.
Oh no. God.
That's pretty awesome. I never thought of that, but that's a good point.
Well, I mean, yeah, you look at it and like, when I was reading through it, you just kind of think about, I love the way everything is laid out, and the images work with the stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when Lewis wrote his article, he did that, and then when it went to Brendan made changes, and it's just interesting to see kind of how that dynamic works.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And, just the amount of talented photographers that we have on the team now, it's really cool to see, how certain articles turn out. Some have, a crazy personality that comes through, and it's really cool to see how it all lays out.
Yeah.
So.
We've got a really diverse layout of photographers. So,
Yeah.
everybody has their own style, and so you'll know when somebody's present on an article, and you can see their style.
Oh, yeah.
And then the designers, which Marty took on a lot of that with this issue,
Yeah.
they get to play around with that, and that's kind of where you're getting with putting the fonts in there too.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Well, I think let's get into the magazine.
Yeah.
We've got. I think we're going to try to split this up. We've got Brendan and Chris here as well. So if those of you that are their family members, they'll be on soon. So don't dislike this episode yet.
Yeah.
I guess first thing, cover photo.
Yeah. Yeah, so that cover photo is from actually a contributor within Shift. His name is Boyan. He has a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram called Car Noob. And he's got an M5. I think it's a competition. And he got the most votes. So, rules say
He took a
gets the
picture
cover.
of his car and then he spammed the internet for votes.
That's exactly what we did, and it was awesome.
Well, hey, there you go.
It's better than having a a summer photo for a winter issue.
Summer photo for a winter issue, and it wasn't taken in Colorado.
Yeah, it was in California.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Wasn't that one of the rules? It had to be taken here?
Yeah.
Within the last 12 months or something like that?
So we changed it around on this issue too. Like we used to do a general public submission of photos, and this one was staff only. Just kind of narrows it down a little bit.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It also gives people a reason to write, right? If you want your stuff on the front, contribute. Getting volunteers out is impossible. So good job on that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, luckily we're all, super passionate about cars, so it's easy to pull at that.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
found it pretty easy, honestly. Like everyone shows up to the stuff that they're interested in. Like if there's
Exactly.
an area of the car world that you're stoked on, people are going to come.
That's fair. I guess attending stuff I can see. I'm just amazed at how many people write and submit stuff and do the work. That's super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. No, just good soul group of dedicated people. It's pretty amazing what you can do.
Well, you're giving a lot of people with a lot of talent, right, an opportunity to be published. And that's something that for some kids, growing up, that's kind of a dream, that they would like to have, if they're writers, if they're talented writers, of being published.
That's kind of how I got into this.
That's
too,
a pretty
honestly.
incredible accomplishment, when you think about it. So,
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the magazine is just like it does lend credibility to photographers or writers. So you can even put that on a resume and be like, hey, yeah, I did this epic work for this magazine. So
yeah.
that's a big reason why I'm passionate about it as well.
Very cool. Are there any articles you guys want to highlight or
Oh man,
any stories you want to talk about? Troubles getting it ready to go or anything like that?
I mean, personally, from me, I'd love to talk about the Lotus Emira, Pikes Peak, as well as Peaked. Those are the three that I have in mind at the moment.
Cool.
But of course, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on board with the Pikes Peak part of it. That was so much fun, and I've got a lot of things that were interesting or funny about me getting there too. And Lotus Emira Day, we just did a bunch of roller shots in one day with 3 cars.
Yeah.
4 cars if you count the BRZ that was there too.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's start with that. Or I guess start with Pikes because that's first in the magazine.
Yeah. Yeah, Pikes Peak was super interesting. I've grown up here and just never gone to it. So this year was like just a perfect opportunity to go up and see it and cover it for Shift. So I was there for one of the practice days. It was like super rainy, very foggy. Like there was ice rain. Had to sit in the car for a long while. And that's when I got altitude sickness, which was lovely. And then, race day in particular was just bonkers. Just getting up there at 3 a.m., probably staying out there for about 20 hours. We forgot to bring camping chairs, so my feet were feeling it at the end.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a long day on a mountain. And the race this year was so long.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, I had never really experienced something like that before. Never been to any kind of hill climb event. And personally, I like it a lot more than F1. I can just get behind it a lot more because, I mean, as you guys know, there's a huge diversity in what people are racing as well as their backgrounds and how they got there. You have like manufacturers like Ford, and then you also have like a husband and wife team that just managed to, get into it. So, but yeah.
It is crazy. I mean, even in, you've got Romain Dumas competing with a Ford team and then the Hyundai guys, I mean, bringing out, what was it, 4? All
4
electric cars and stuff like that. And then teams like the guys Shift has been following for years in the Oedas, Mattis, and then Hackle. You know, I mean, what a cool group to get to hang out with. So, I think I agree with you. I think the grassroots side of it and the feel that it's just, I feel like I could do it.
Yeah, and then you mix that in with like the manufacturer presence that's there too. Just having it all together. Yeah, it's just so cool.
Yeah. Plus a great mountain. The setting is so great.
Yeah,
Totally.
Oh yeah, that was honestly that's a big part of what I contributed to the Pikes Peak part of it was like just hanging out on the side of the hill at sunset.
Yeah,
or sunrise. I mean, there's nothing like it.
Nope. And it's the only time you can really do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The mountain's not really open for the general public.
Yep. Yeah, and Jake, you were primarily at tire testing, right?
I was almost not at tire testing because I woke up super late. So for those of you that don't know, Pikes Peak happens very early in the morning when it comes to practicing. And Brendan, as he'll probably tell you, is super strict about timelines. So I live up in Denver, and I was meeting Brendan down in Manitou and woke up super late and ended up having to just rip down to the springs. And I thought I wasn't going to make it because his rule is if you're not there at 3, I'm leaving.
Right.
Traffic's a little better.
Yeah, there was no traffic, so I
yeah.
wasn't too worried about it, but it was just a chaotic morning. And then showing up to something that like I've dreamed of doing and actually doing it, it's pretty awe-inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that they've been doing it for, 102, was that 102?
That was 102nd.
Yeah, 102 years is just mind-boggling. But yeah, I mean, just the overall experience was awesome. Like you mentioned, Aweda was super cool to connect with, as well as like Hackle. I think I spent the most time just hanging out with David. Oh, why am I forgetting his last name right now? He's got the Audi TT. Mattis.
Oh.
Yeah. Just spending that time with him on the practice day was awesome. So.
Yeah, I'd like to throw a shout out to Gunnar Ulrich too, because if it
Yeah.
wasn't for him when I was shooting up there, I would have had no idea what I was doing.
Really?
He's shot up there a ton, and he's just a great photographer to work with. And I'm just starting out in photography, and that was the whole reason I was there. So it was cool to hang out with him and have him show me some of the cooler places to be and better angles. And I actually learned a lot from him that day.
Great.
So thanks, Gunnar, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, for sure. Who's not listening to this?
Yeah, I know.
We have our live comments going on.
Yep, I know. And look, it's there. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
This is the first time we've had this set up.
Yeah.
We upgraded just for you guys.
Yes.
So.
Damn.
We feel so special.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, that is sick, though.
We'll hit that in a minute. So you got completely bamboozled by the altitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time that I was up there is when I was super young, took the train up, and I got altitude sickness. This time I went up in a car and I got altitude sickness. And luckily Brendan had a Gatorade stored away. So drank that, got fixed up. Sun started peeking out. Looked like we were on a different planet. And yeah, we just kind of got to work from there. So
Yeah. John and I used to give bad medical advice on the show years ago.
Take aspirin.
Don't
good for
take
everything.
aspirin when you go up there.
Yeah. Take lots of it.
Right. Yeah, don't take aspirin. I think it was, we figured out you might be able to take baby aspirin. Was that the thing?
Consult your doctor.
Definitely
I mean,
consult your
we're-
doctor. Yeah, we are not.
Don't tune into a car podcast.
Right, to get medical.
Yeah, to get medical advice.
No, we
That's true.
found out after the fact that we had been, making these recommendations for newcomers that we might have killed someone. Like if they
anybody listened
if
to
they
us.
actually
Yeah.
listened to our
Yeah.
advice, they
Bad idea.
It could have been bad.
There's a sticker on one of these cars that I really love. We do this not because it's easy,
oh yes.
but because we thought it would be.
Yep. Yep.
That's the story of racing.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also my life.
Yes.
That's pretty great. Cool photos. I like the end slide. See you next year.
Yeah.
Get
Yep.
people back. So many cool shots here.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of
Let's
great.
skip down to the Amira. Look at this stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, this thing is wild.
Yes.
Yeah, how does it drive? I haven't been in one yet. I drove an Evora.
Like nothing I've ever driven before.
Okay.
It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's glued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever driven a car that feels like that locked in when you're driving it. Like it's bad news if you're a ballsy person.
Yeah. No, I would say that it was interesting. I think I learned that it was a transmission out of a truck of some kind. So when you're shifting, it just has like these really long, dramatic, and kind of clunky throws. But that just adds to the whole experience, honestly. So
How did you get set up with the car to begin with?
yeah, so Steve actually made a connection with Lotus of Denver, and I think that's how we got looped into it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Because you work with Toyota,
Yep.
and Toyota, does that also get you access to Lexus
Yep.
Yes, it does.
as well? Is there anything else affiliated with Toyota that you do? Because, I mean, seeing the Lotus, I thought, wow, that's awesome. right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess you're not working with Lotus. You're working with the local dealer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a first for us too, I think, as far as press cars and stepping outside of
Definitely.
the Toyota family.
Sure.
And what a cool car to be the first one outside of the Toyota family. Not that those aren't cool either, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, that thing was beautiful, just like pulling up into Deer Creek and seeing it on the parking lot. And yeah, just the exterior design's awesome. Interior is actually really comfy.
I was shocked at how comfortable it is. Like, you see a car that small and that low, and you think it's going to be a pain to get in and out of. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, I'm not a big guy either, but I seem to fit just fine in there. Marty, you're about the same size.
Yeah, yeah. The only issue that I had is that, like, if you scooted the seat too far forward, which I did because I'm short, and I noticed that the kind of like door sill area where it started to flow into the dash, it gets pretty thick, so I couldn't get my foot out of it.
Right.
So that was an interesting experience. But I'd say my favorite thing that I noticed while I was driving it through the canyons was if you look in the rearview mirror, every time you press on the throttle, you can see it open and close.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Like that's just right there.
Yep.
It's
That's-
pretty
That's
sweet.
your only rear view. There's really nothing else behind you.
Sure. Right. No, that's awesome. What kind of power plant does the car use?
It's a Toyota V6.
It's okay.
Yeah.
They're still using.
Supercharged. Good sounding V6, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, we heard it, getting hammered on a little bit by Steve and
Okay.
Terry, and we were like, well, sounds pretty good.
Right. Right. And then I don't know, does it go into detail like the car that you're driving, what is pricing? Where's someone going to pick one of those cars up for?
I don't recall the exact MSRP, but I'm pretty sure it's in the six figures.
I think it's right around $100,000.
Okay.
As
Sounds
Right to me, yeah. Cayman GT4
Sure.
ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I
But
totally could have asked you these questions before we started
all good.
recording.
No worries at all.
So much more fun to do.
Yeah,
it this
right,
way.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It just incentivizes people to read it. I think it's in there.
It's in there. It's in there. And I mean, let's face it, at least to me, Lotus could use some publicity.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a car company, but granted, they don't make a ton of cars, right? Like Porsche, there's not one for everybody necessarily, but I don't ever hear of them, right? Unless it's in a scenario like this. Someone's talking about an experience that they had.
I'm hoping that this kind of changes that too, because this car does exactly what you think Lotus does. It's a great handling car. It's extremely fun to drive. And this one is, in my opinion, one of the prettiest Lotuses. So I'm hoping that that's going to gain them some exposure and start making them a little bit more of a mainstream name.
What was the car before this? Was it the Evora? Yeah.
Yeah.
The Evora GT,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
And you said that you drove a 400, right?
I think ours was a GT.
It was a
That
GT.
Yeah, that we had come through.
That
yeah.
was a beautiful car.
What was that experience like for you guys?
I think very cool. I think it's a fun alternative to a Cayman. You get with Porsche, I think you get a different fit and finish and build quality
Totally.
to it. The Lotus felt, the leather was really nice. But I kind of remember like the head unit being like an Alpine or something like that. Just not like, which is cool in its own way. It's kind of a throwback, right? It's a different thing, but, maybe a little less useful in that way. I fit way better than I expected to.
Nice.
So I think kind of also like a Cayman where they're tiny little cars, but you can fold yourself into them.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I thought that was a fun thing. And like you say, just the mechanical, it feels less refined, less polished,
Yeah,
and more
exactly.
just kind of like a raw sports car.
Yeah.
Which was cool. It was enjoyable.
I'm going to give you a totally different kind of experience with that car.
Okay.
It's not about the driving experience. The car drives awesome, right?
Yeah.
So we got that car from one of our really great repeat customers, someone that I've actually known since I was a mechanic. And this guy, he loves trying new things, and he's a total car nut, right?
Gotcha.
Porsche, I think, is his brand. Between Porsche and Ferrari, I mean, those are like his brands he really loves, but he tries different things. Now, and John, you're 6'5", and this guy,
Yeah,
I
he's
think
right there with
he's
me.
6'5", 6'6". He's right in there. And when I first heard that he had this Evora GT, I thought, you fit? And he just laughed and he said, yeah, it's a circus act, getting in and out. He goes, but no, once I'm in it, it's great. Well, anyway, so buying the car from him, he's a kind of a Denver guy. And so what I would typically do in a routine is that I would get all my stuff together and then I would just meet up with him and grab the car, just take like an Uber, to him, grab the car, and then bring it down here. Well, this certain occasion was I picked it up on a Wednesday afternoon and I'm off, I'm doing things around Denver. I take it, so I take it home because I'm going to come down Thursday morning. Well, Wednesday afternoon is my neighbor that lives 2 doors down. One of the kids comes running over, and they know what I do, but they just had never seen that car, before. So the neighbor comes running over, starts asking questions. I know a little bit about the car, but not a ton. The neighbor's dad, the kid's dad, comes over, and I've only talked to him a few times, up until this point. It turns out that he is a wicked Lotus fan. Yeah, has been for a very long time. Knew all kinds of things about the car. Cool. And then it got him out of his comfort level. And he said, look, normally I would never do anything like this, but my son said I should ask if you would take me for a drive.
Aww.
Right? And it was, yeah, man, let's get in, right?
That's
and
awesome.
So we went for just a quick drive, and it's easy for me to get, out of, neighborhood areas, really quickly.
Yeah.
And we're not railing on the car or anything. We just went for kind of a quick drive. It made a connection between me and a neighbor that, obviously we're cordial with each other, but now we have something in common. And so, if I'm out, if I'm redoing my garage or something like that, he stops by. But now I know he's got some gearhead, in him, and then some questions. And it actually took our relationship and really started to develop that. Yeah. Where it's cool enough now to where it's, hey, you want to come over for a beer? I'm grilling some burgers or whatever. So the car is what brought that community closer together. Which
Lotus opened the door for friendship.
Absolutely. Which, this is what we're doing.
It's one of my favorite things about cars.
Yeah. Absolutely. But the Lotus is what brought that, for me and my neighbor.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
We all need some of these.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What do you guys drive?
Yeah.
I've got a 2011 Audi R8 V10. It's the R-Tronic.
I remember that. Yep.
Marty's cars are way cooler than mine. I have an old 91 4Runner that I just resurrected from behind my apartment. I've had it forever. I love it, but it's a fun car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we both have Miatas.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a Miata too.
That's cool.
Were you part of the jumping Miata crew?
Yeah.
Yes. That's not my Miata, but
Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad you got to experience
We covered it.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask each one of you, is there a particular story that is really partial to you, that you wanted to make sure that you mentioned tonight?
I mean, the Amira was kind of it for me.
Okay.
That was just such a unique experience.
Sure.
So, yeah. How about you, Jake?
I think honestly, Pikes Peak for me, just because that's something I've lived in Colorado for 12 years, and all 12 years, that's something I've wanted to do. Just never had the time for, and then it just kind of worked out this year. And then being new to the magazine and having that opportunity to go up for a testing day, that was definitely the one that hit closest to home, writing for this issue for sure.
And then right before we started recording, you had mentioned, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to scan through this, but is the Automezzi, is that in this issue, or does that happen?
Yeah, that is in this issue.
Okay.
That one was super interesting. I love old Italian cars, so going and checking out all of the old Fiats that were there was pretty cool. I was kind of turned off just by how people didn't want to chat with you there, and that's what I like to do when I'm at a car show, but definitely nothing to not go back for.
Sure. Yeah. That's a show that I've never been to. I mean, I've heard about it, a number of times. But I think this is great to write about it because I think there's a ton of people in the area that have no idea, that this crazy, Italian car show happens every year.
Yeah.
Honestly, as somebody who's even interested in Italian cars, I did not realize that community was so big in Colorado.
Right, exactly.
And I would say 80% of those cars were Colorado cars. There was a handful from surrounding states. I was talking to one guy with an Alpha from Utah that actually drove it out there, which sounds crazy to me.
Okay. No, I think that's awesome. Because that would be something really cool and fun and unique to go see. And you had said it was a big show, over 100 cars.
Yeah, easily.
And obviously there's at least a driver, per car. So it's gonna drag a big crowd, to come around and check it out. And it always looks like it's in a great setting. Do they do it in the same spot every year?
I don't know if it's the same spot every year. This year it was Clear Creek Park in Arvada, and they had a live jazz band playing, which was really cool.
That's pretty fun. Mm-hmm.
Like, I walked in a little bit late and just heard live music. I was like, this is way different than what I was expecting.
Right, yeah.
They were serving beer at 10 o'clock in the morning, which I thought was awesome.
Yep.
That's pretty funny. And then do you hear funny things like, well, I've only got 7,000 miles on my car?
When you're walking around in like the Ferrari and Lamborghini section, like they kind of split it up. All of the cool classics that I'm interested in are like surrounding the show.
Okay.
And then in the middle is like depreciation land with all the Ferraris and Maseratis. And they all kind of flock together too. So that's the interesting crowd in there. You can definitely hear them talking about stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've seen in the past photos of like a couple different LaFerraris. Like there was the original LaFerrari, and then I think the same person had they call it a Spider, like a convertible.
Yeah.
What's that?
Aperta.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas then they've got, a couple of them together. And I mean, holy crap. Come on. Seeing two of those things, with each other, that's pretty cool. You don't get to do that every day.
Yeah. It's just millions of dollars worth of cars just hanging out in one park.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's pretty fun. Plus, you're in Arvada.
Yeah.
I mean, from here, that's like on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
to
that's
get
like
there.
a long way away.
Yeah, but you know what Arvada has is actually some super cool restaurants like brew houses, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Some great food there. And then our buddies, Drum City Guitar Land,
yeah,
they're out in Arvada, so that'd be a good excuse to go visit them.
How many years has it been since we were supposed to go visit them?
Well, I do go visit them.
Well, you're a better son.
Is it just a music shop up there?
Yeah, I love that place. It's been around since the 60s, I think.
Oh, no way.
It's brothers. It was their dad started it. He was a drummer, and then it's Jason and Tim, the brothers that have it now. One of them, Jason, does guitars, and Tim does the drums. I mean, anybody that is a guitarist, who is who of guitars and drums around Colorado, and probably a lot of North America, if not, they definitely know Drum City Guitar Land. They know those guys.
No way. I'm a drummer and I've never heard of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm just partial to Rupp's drums.
I didn't mean to offend you. But no, you have to go check it out.
Absolutely.
But Tim, I mean, it's cool because I think the reason we get along so well is that they're like us, as in they're extremely into what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my life kind of revolves around this. And anyone that knows me really well, they would say, yeah, that's pretty true, And no, yeah, Tim and Jason, I think the same thing. I think their life kind of revolves around their passion, which is the drums and guitars. And it's kind of family, really, when it comes down to it. But
it's funny that you mention it, too, because there's actually an article in here that starts with that same comparison between car guys and photographers. Mm-hmm. And it was we did a local photographer. We highlighted him, Mike Casarda. And that article opens with car guys and photographers are a lot alike in the way that our lives kind of revolve around our interests. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah. Like, musicians are definitely the same way.
Right. Well, definitely check them out. And they have kind of funny hours. There's like a day of the week that they're closed. It might even be during the middle of the week, or so. It's something kind of random like that.
Okay.
But you'll be blown away for the size of the shop that it is. What they have in there is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's really cool.
Sounds like the kind of place I'm going to go in without my credit card.
Yeah, right. That's a good idea. Any other story that you really wanted to pick on?
I got to do my first full car review in this one. I did the Toyota Crown.
Awesome.
Which as somebody who grew up reading car magazines, that's something I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
Isn't Nightshade a family of berries that are poisonous, but also gave rise to tomatoes?
I'm learning something very new right now.
Yeah. Is this from the Hunger Games?
No, I'm pretty sure this is true, that Nightshade is a little berry that's poisonous.
Interesting.
But it was then bred into modern tomatoes.
So that's why tomatoes are so bad for you?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why they're so acidic.
I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I've never heard that before.
I'll put $20 on that.
I love tomatoes,
Same family.
but I stopped eating them.
Well, better start up again. They'll kill you.
Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of funny. Yeah. Because I've learned that tomatoes are one of the worst things for people to eat,
Yeah.
like for health.
Yeah,
stuff.
there you go. Because they're poison.
That's pretty
proof from
fascinating,
poison
John.
berries.
Proof in the pudding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what is a Toyota Crown? That's been around in Japan for a long time. This is the first time it's come to the U.S. Is that
Not the first time, but we've had it here before. It's actually
Really?
the first Toyota model imported to the U.S. was the Toyopet Crown.
huh?
Wow.
And that was back in the 50s. And then, so we had it here up until I think the early 70s.
Okay.
And then we've had it under various other nameplates like the, what is it, the Avalon.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Avalon has always just been the U.S. version of the Crown. It's been pretty much the same
Okay.
platform
Got it.
with different options. And then, so this is the first time in 50 years that we have the Crown nameplate back. And it was an interesting car, especially to do your first car review on.
Yeah.
As a car enthusiast, like I'm hoping that we're going to get like an 86 or we're going to get a Supra, and that would be awesome to play around with for a week. Not that this wasn't an awesome car. Definitely good looking car. I love the front end of it.
I
It's
like
a
their new
super
design
cool
language.
look.
yeah, absolutely.
They've pushed past Honda. to
Yes.
me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Where I think
Definitely.
that had a little flip flop recently.
This, I mean, I'm not seeing it in person, obviously, but it looks larger than an Avalon, at least for what I remember as an Avalon.
It looks taller than an Avalon.
yeah,
like
right.
lengthwise and widthwise, it's pretty much the same car. But it's like got that like crossover
Okay.
sedan stance that everybody's getting into now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I do like the front end design looks pretty sweet.
The color was awesome too. That storm cloud blue, I loved it. Like if it was in the right light, it looks gray, and then you get it in the sunlight, and it looks full on navy. And I love the new trend of no metallics in colors lately.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's really cool. But you did the whole story?
Yeah, I did the whole review on it, except for, so we do a second opinion, which is kind of our way to get people into doing car reviews. I did one last issue on the Lexus TX500.
Okay.
So Pat Curtin did our second review, so he had it for a day. And then I had it for the other 6 and just kind of used it as my daily driver.
Sure.
Which I haven't had a new car ever.
Yeah.
Everything I've owned has been like 20 years old. So driving around in a brand new car for 6 days, it's not a rental car. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying after you didn't have it for a little bit, you were like, "Oh man, I kind of miss the modern convenience a little bit."
I miss ventilated seats and air conditioning that works all the time.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But it's definitely like for a car enthusiast to do a review on a car that's not an enthusiast focused car. It was an interesting way to look at it. It really makes you think about what makes a good car. Like, is a good car like something that like I like that I have to mess with every weekend to get it to work right, or is a good car something that you can hop in, drive, and it does exactly what you ask it to every day?
Right.
Makes you rethink that for sure.
So Shift on our comments just mentioned the official car of wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Yes, exactly. So I think Toyota's statement on the target demographic for it was that it's for the younger end of empty nesters. So think your Margaritaville generation.
Okay. Okay.
Like I think my parents would love this car.
I'm coming up on it.
You're 2 years out.
I'm coming up
You're
on
2
it.
years out on that demo, buddy.
You might be in the market soon.
Yeah, I think.
Well, in the car reviews that you do, I mean, not everything can be lollipops, bubblegum, and rainbows, right? There's got to be some cons to it as well.
Exactly.
And I don't want to dwell on anything negative, but I don't want you to mention anything.
Yeah, just
but in the review,
Two questions, and then we got to kick them out.
Okay.
Aw.
First question: name something that sucked.
CVT transmission.
Amen.
Yeah.
Okay, that was
Jeez.
quick and easy. And did you give it a score? Do you score it on a scale of 1 to 20 or 1 to
No,
100
I'm not
or
Doug
anything?
DeMuro. I can't do that.
Okay. Well, you could pick a different
We'll score it on the
scale.
Jake scale.
Yeah.
I don't have a number for it, man. It's just a good car.
Okay. That sounds like a 7.3.
Yeah, 7.3. Let's call it that.
Yeah. All right.
Right.
6.9.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, there you go. Not. You guys better get off the air before the car loses any more points. All right. Well, Jake and Marty, thank you guys. Pleasure to have you on. Look forward to having you back. If there's anything we can do to help, talk to him because my schedule's booked.
Right.
Thanks for having us, guys. This was
Seriously,
awesome.
Anytime,
Thank you.
come on down. That'd be a lot of fun. So, where'd the other Yahoos go?
So I'm going to pan over to just where it's us. So that
Okay, there you go. So you guys can escape.
Yep.
Okay.
So there you go.
Yeah. No. Where did they go?
They're hiding in the photography office, planning their next
Got it.
big heist. Oh, they're pounding beers now.
Oh, this is going to
Yeah.
be.
This is good.
This is going to be
This is
great.
good. I don't think they understand that they're supposed to be walking this way, but that's okay. They'll
Okay.
get here. Yeah. Well, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, John, I am totally impressed with the studio that you've got set up. I mean, like I said, the people at home can't see where we're sitting, but to describe it is in our kind of lobby area in our pre-owned showroom is we've got this big TV hanging up on the wall, and John and I are actually able to watch everything live as it's happening. I mean, so are the guests, right? So we get to see the comments, we get to do all of it. I mean, it's like being in a studio.
Well, while I was at training, I got to sit in the new lounge.
Oh,
And
really?
it is everything we dreamed of.
Is it?
Yes. Complete with a hookah.
Oh, they've got. Oh, they stole the idea.
Yeah, we're going to have a hookah. So, no, it's going to be pretty phenomenal.
Do you know how much the hookah is?
$579.
No, it's like $2,600.
Oh, that's more.
So I wanted to get one just to have one.
Yeah.
I don't smoke hookah. I don't smoke
if
anything.
I had that, I would.
But anyway, they're like, this would be super cool to have. And I'm like, cool. How much is it? $2,600. Nope. I'm not going to do that just to do it.
Did you get this in the room that's going to be this?
Not this. I think this stays. And then they're getting rid of some of our parking inside the building.
Yeah.
And they're going to set up a new lounge for us with brown leather sofas and bookshelves and swivel chairs.
So we're taking the area that no one uses, expanding it to make it a larger area that no one uses.
to make two areas that
and
no one
then
uses.
John and I get to take one of those.
Yeah.
And then we still have a space that no one uses. Yep. And one less place to park a car.
Yep.
So now everyone can see that we've got two new guests on the show here. So we've got Brendan.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are you?
And
That's right.
and Chris is back.
Chris is
Welcome.
back.
He's still got an invite, even though he skipped out on my Morgan Adams party.
Was this the after party?
Yeah.
The McDonald's after party?
Everybody had a commitment, but they all came anyway.
We should turn their mics on.
Oh, good idea. There you go.
I wonder how long those were off.
I turned them off when the guys walked away. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard them talking. So.
No, it was fine.
Okay. That is totally something I would do.
We definitely were in the other room listening to the podcast.
We
live.
should and razzing the guys on air. So
That's
that
true.
That was pretty good.
I'm glad to see that he could actually see that.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. Way to go, Marty.
Yeah.
David Mattis.
Yes.
Yeah. Close enough. Sure.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well,
So how
welcome
are
back,
you
guys. Definitely appreciate you taking the time to come all the way down.
We appreciate being here.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Plus, the more time I get to spend in my Porsche, I love it more every day.
I know. Did you see we got one?
We got one for you.
I did kind of notice.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
interior. Is that Iceland green?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We didn't have enough time. We were going to put one of our yellow Porsche Colorado Springs brows on it.
It's just to confuse you.
Right.
I mean, that
Just tell
car,
them we got your car from service.
it is sitting up there in service with the yellow Porsche Colorado Springs brow still on. I thought about peeling it,
That's
Yeah.
so fun.
but I ran out of time and also thought, why not?
Yeah. That's why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
Yep. That'll teach them.
Back of the
Anyhow,
pile, this
yeah.
one goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't put it there. It was installed by a dealership.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, okay. So Marty's the new chief editor for this issue.
Marty's
So
the new guy.
So Brendan, what does your role become?
Director of Transportation?
Okay. All right.
Chief Encourager?
I think I noticed, were they using your car in a story? Maybe was that the last issue or this issue, or was that something totally different?
Yeah, no, that was this
you
one.
did. That's that is probably my
It's on page 38, I think. Let's try 38.
Oh wow, that's pretty good memory. John.
I'm probably wrong, but whoa. Look,
And
I
I
can
thought to
control
my-
stuff over here.
Wow.
How can I do that?
I don't know what you're doing. That's
I don't know, but do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
Well, how do I get it back?
It's got something to do with the homeless guys stealing all of our copper wires.
Honestly, up there.
They're
It's
just walking around.
the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is new.
We did.
So-
in the days when my car was still running, we
I thought, wow, that's impressive. You're letting. I mean, because there are shots with other people behind the wheel.
it's just a car.
It is. You know what? You're exactly right.
It's a really nice car.
It's very nice, but
It's
it is
just
a car.
But yeah, that's probably the story that I think I'm going to talk about from this run because
Awesome.
it's an enjoyable one.
Okay. Well, as soon as John gets his
No, I'm just so amazed. Like, we can set that iPad somewhere else and still work on it.
I like it.
So
I love it.
this is important for everybody watching and listening. Me playing around with my toys.
Right.
This is making really good radio for
Yeah,
Spotify.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, Spotify.
I think
I think
was close.
Oh, you found it.
Yeah.
Look at that. Mm-hmm.
So this was our Colorado content creator, Kurt, who we got to work with this time. This is a segment that you guys spawned, if you'll remember.
Okay.
You were our first Colorado content creator back in issue 3?
Yeah, it's
sounds
early.
right.
It's
Yeah.
super early. Mm-hmm.
Long time ago. But, I thought it was going to be kind of a hard one to continue to find people with, and we have continued to find someone new every time around. Kurt is someone who kind of got his start just recording things he liked doing with cars on YouTube. He kind of a lot of project car stuff in the very beginning, and people find their footing over time. It was interesting going back in his catalog and watching him kind of get started and see how different things are to where they are today.
Right.
But yeah, Kurt, actually, we met him at an event that Chris and I are both going to talk about a little later called the Rocky Mountain Driving Event, where we went out and drove a bunch of review cars with the manufacturers. But met Kurt and hey, we want to just film you doing your thing. And got around to August, and he had a car from another brand, and I'm not going to bust the car out, but he said, you guys would film something better if I was walking.
Oh no.
He didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
It sounds good, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just said, I'm not super jazzed on the car.
Okay.
Is there any way you can think of to do it without a car review? And I said, well, I might have something for you.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So instead, we used that car there, which is really familiar to the one you got out in the parking lot
Right,
for me.
right.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And we recorded him kind of doing his thing. So we recorded him doing his walk around with the car, kind of his process, his pickups. Kurt's super bread and butter, and he's super consistent. Straight car reviews. The one thing he always tries to do, and thankfully he was nice enough not to do it this time, is he tries to jam a bike in it.
Hope you got a big trunk. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put my bike in it.
Yeah, when we open whatever you would call the flap in the back of my car.
Yeah.
It's not a hood. It's not a trunk.
It's a deck
grill,
lid.
The deck lid.
Let's call it a deck lid. Mm-hmm.
When we opened the deck lid, he did not try and cram a bicycle in there, which I was appreciative of.
Right.
But no, just a really great evening, and getting to watch your own car rip around without you in it's a weird thing.
Yeah. We call those test drives.
Test drive, yes, yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No kidding. So it was the entire. Does he take the whole day?
So we shot that in, I want to say, about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And we actually really slowed him down quite a bit because we were there. He said, usually I feel a little bit different because people are watching me. It's not just my camera.
Yeah.
And this guy's got some. He's really built himself up into something really fairly well followed. He's a little bit over 100,000 followers.
Wow.
New video once a week, and says that his turn time on putting a new video out is about 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Wow.
And he's living the dream. He's getting a manufacturer car every week.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, something that just popped into my brain as far as you say, yeah, bread and butter, very consistent. So, I mean, if I was, if we were going to watch 5 reviews, you can kind of almost fast forward like to certain sections, say a minute into it, and he's probably going to be at this point, in the car.
Right.
That's awesome. That level of consistency can be really difficult.
No, it's super difficult, but he's been doing it for 10 years, and I think that shows you what happens when you stick with it for a while.
For sure. See, John, see where we could be.
We're there.
7 more years for you guys, and you're there? Or?
Well, I mean, we each get credit.
That's
so
true.
technically
It
we're at least 6 years.
Or
At least
combined.
6 years.
We have combined experience.
I think so. Isn't that how it works? Yeah.
Unfortunately, the piece of content is not out yet, and we tried to back off and give him some space so we could actually get his stuff on camera. Because I think we were maybe getting in his jam a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm really interested to see what he had to say about my car.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Before the devil took up residency in it 2 days later.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Had he driven Porsche products or a 911 before that? Or is
Yeah,
this,
he had.
okay.
I believe he'd owned a 996 or 997. I can't remember.
Okay.
But he's into the brand.
That's cool. He films it like Wheel of Fortune, and he does like an entire season and then releases it.
Well, the other cool thing about what he does is he is not a gear snob. My favorite thing about the whole conversation was like we were just talking to him because we've got a lot of photography nerds on staff and trying to figure out what equipment he's using, and he just said, "I don't know, it's a camera." I got a lav mic. It goes here.
Right.
Like he
Yeah.
found what works for him, and he's focused on putting the content out. He doesn't really care about the equipment. So yeah, we had a lot of fun working with Kurt, talking to Kurt this time around.
And how did you discover him?
So he was with us on that Rocky Mountain driving event,
Which you're getting to.
Yeah, that was a good one that Chris and I got to go do with our mutual pal Ryan Barkey, who joined us this year.
Yep.
We got to get you guys on that thing.
I'll give you my social. What else do you need? Picture of my driver's license?
Mother's maiden name and a street that you lived on when you were growing up.
I think you need $50 and the willingness to lose it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
John, can you spot me?
Nope.
Yeah,
Just sell that meth you have at home. You'll be
It might be, the problem is it might be fentanyl. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't want to be responsible.
Don't, yeah.
But yeah, we got to get you guys out to that some year. It's a lot of fun. You would enjoy that.
Yeah.
Lots of content, but nothing on brand. Unfortunately, Porsche does not.
That's okay.
Does Porsche have a press fleet in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In L.A.
In L.A.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Sounds like an opportunity for a trip to LA.
A trip to L.A.
There you go. You should
Get
go
some
do
hikes
that.
and tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't we talk about RMDE a little
Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
right.
RMDE.
Yep.
Yeah, so for the piece that we did on this one, we each picked our top three fun, functional, and fancy because it didn't seem right to call any car bad or ugly. It's Hypertruck. Sorry. But yeah, no, we just had a blast. They
Apostrophe, not an official attendee of RMDE.
True. Yeah, they put together this really nice driving route that took us up 285. We went out to Fairplay, hung a right, went up to Breckenridge, looped back on I-70. This was over the course of 2 days. We had a lot of seat time in a lot of different vehicles, which was really enjoyable. We got to drive a little bit of everything. I think my time was a bit biased towards the Miata, initially by choice and then not by choice, because on the ending day on the way back, we were just trying to get people rotated through cars, but also keep the group moving so everyone could go home. And I just kept getting the Miata.
There
I
it
was
is.
not sad about it.
So this is the fun car.
This was my fun car, the car that needs no introduction.
I was really
It's a Miata.
tempted to put the picture of you not driving it in,
Where I had both
where you
hands off
just
the
had
wheel.
both hands exploding out of the car.
For a split second.
It's the same picture there, but just imagine both of his hands
Jazz hands.
just exploding out of the car. It's that much jubilation that Chris derives from driving a Miata.
Wow.
I love Miatas. I've had two of them. I miss them dearly. I'm going to have another one again in the future at some point. They're just good cars. But for functional, I picked the Land Rover Defender. This was another
Wait,
one that...
Don't I get my fun car?
Oh, yeah, you get your fun car. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I was going to go through all three of mine first, then you do.
No.
Okay.
Airtime hog. My fun car was an electric SUV, and it turns out I bought one.
Is that why you bought it?
It is kind of why I bought it.
Wow.
So I've been on a journey of self-discovery where I learned that Korean cars are okay.
Very cool.
I had a Telluride for last year, which I also bought after going to RMDE. So this
So
thing
it works.
It works.
Yeah. Selling to the journalist.
Selling straight to the journalists.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed the form factor for some of the things we do on shift. It makes a nice car to go out and shoot from, do rollers from. It's a nice base of operations at Pikes Peak. Just don't hang out in it when it's locked, or it'll keep.
Yeah.
It'll upset your wife. But got to drive the electric version of the Telluride on RMDE, the EV9, and just really enjoyed it. It's like taking my truck and making it twice as fast, and everything else was the same.
Sure. So is the platform the same? They just removed the gas engine, put in an electric motor, and then hide batteries somewhere?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Wheelbase is very similar. I'm pretty sure it is same-ish platform.
Do you have a front trunk, or is there just engine stuff under there?
You could fit a Dob kit in there.
Okay. Yep.
It's basically for hiding your level 1 charger.
Right.
But otherwise, it was basically a seamless transition. And, driving it on RMDE, you get to go and drive it on some of the best driving roads in the state, which was... Thanks, Jason. That's nice to see. You caught me out mid-sentence there. You interrupted my flow. I'm going to make fun of your golf again later. Anyway, getting to drive a 3-row SUV it is a little bit less than a second slower to 60 than my 911, though.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's extremely pointless, but at the same time, really fun.
How are the brakes?
You don't need them.
Okay.
Regen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the biggest hater of driving Regen the first couple of times I drove it, and I told myself I was going to turn it off every time I got in the truck. Month and a half in, I drive with Regen.
Okay.
On max.
So 1 foot.
1 foot.
Yep. Big blue golf cart.
Yep.
That's right.
Pretty much.
But
Anyway, you want to talk
So
about
that was your fun car.
That's my fun car.
Yeah.
Good choice.
You want to talk about some fanciness?
yeah, do we skip functional and go straight to fancy?
We can do functional. Let's do some functional.
Yeah, functional. I chose the Land Rover Defender. Admittedly, I used to work for the brand, and this came out after I had left. So I was just really curious about it. And I liked it a lot. I thought it was just a really well-rounded, competent SUV. Lots of space for all your stuff. Fun design. One of the cool things on the interior that they did was in the doors, they did like these multi-piece door cards so that some of the metal from the door actually showed through in between them. And it was just like a nice little color accent. But I mean, like, nothing really jumped out as like super exceptional or super below exceptional. Just really nicely well-rounded little SUV. And the, I don't know, styling, just like the kind of steely
I like those a
wheels
lot.
on it.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a fun one to check out.
I had to let my inner American fly a little bit.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The Dodge Ram 1500 Laramie, I think.
Laramie, sure. Yeah.
It says Bighorn.
Bighorn.
Oh, Bighorn.
I don't know.
These are all words that evoke,
Yeah.
manliness.
Right.
And it's interesting because what I liked about this was it was a really functional. It was functional as a pickup truck, right? It's a pickup truck. It's a 1500 chassis pickup truck. It's already functional. We decided to treat it like a little family road trip around the lake. So we piled me and Chris and Ryan Barkey and Kurt into the 4 positions of the truck and just went for a lap around Lake Dillon. So I like that it was functional both as a car and as a truck because no one was uncomfortable. Actually rode pretty good. So I don't know, letting my inner Dodge flag fly a little bit.
That's good.
After I joined the family with the other thing. But
Right.
I think my favorite detail about this truck was when
it
you
the-
lift up the
Yeah.
under the center console armrest. There's like a
cast into under the center console armrest was a bunch of formulas and trigonometry and like a compass and a protractor and a ruler. Like things you might need as a contractor
Math
if you're
cheat
going
sheets.
to square footage.
Yeah.
Wait, this comes with, this is like
It's like an
molded
Easter
in.
egg. It's molded into the plastic on the bottom of the armrest.
That's awesome.
So you can flip your armrest up and cheat on a math test.
Right. That's actually pretty fun.
I mean,
that's cool.
those trucks have to be keeping Stellantis alive.
probably.
Oh yeah.
I can't.
And I kind of wonder if taking that and making it into a TRX ruins it.
Who? Someone mentioned that the Dodge family is going to make a run at trying to buy it back.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That I could actually see things improving under new management for them. Maybe.
But anyway, you're right. I mean, as far as the truck, the practicality goes between being a kind of a family caravan and a pickup truck, absolutely.
It was exceptional. We all had room. We all had, it was nice, airy greenhouse, good sunlight. We had a wonderful time on our family outing.
That's great. I am a firm believer that once you have a pickup, you will always have a pickup.
I'm having a hard time not wanting that for my next.
Here we go.
Yeah, I know. Everything's about me. But that little Ford Maverick,
John's always thinking.
Spiked me up, and then I thought that was too small.
The Maverick, the Maverick's small, and you could get it in a hybrid. Is that right?
Yeah, but the hybrid sucks.
I think the Maverick's the best thing they ever did to sell Rangers.
But,
right. Yeah.
Because there's never a Maverick on the lot, but if you look over this way, we have a Ranger, which is really similar.
Yeah.
Right. And more.
It's true.
My wife wanted to buy a Maverick, and that was exactly how the conversation went with every dealership we talked to. Unfortunately, the Maverick is, a really hot commodity, but if you come right this way,
we have Rangers.
We have Rangers. Chris, let's get fancy.
That's right.
So getting real fancy, I picked the Genesis, was it the GV80? I actually wrote my whole piece on this with the model name wrong and then had to go back and correct it.
Made a very good impression.
Yeah.
I was more focused on the car, not the name.
Right,
It's the overall experience.
Kind of like how Brendan's dad, Pete, connected with James.
Yeah, J-name,
John.
whatever. Internet lead, here's his phone number. Same difference.
But there were just a lot of things in there that really surprised me. Like some of the switchgear, like the turn signals had like knurling on the end and like these little luxury touches that I just wasn't expecting. And what really threw me was when I put it in sport mode, it dropped the seat down and tightened the bolsters just on its own, unprompted. It's like, oh, you're going to sport mode? Sit sportier.
Wait, so it drops the seat, not the car?
Correct. Yeah, like the seat base kind of tilted back a little bit and it just tightened up a little bit. I hadn't seen that in a car before.
That sounds like so German, actually.
Yeah.
Because the Germans be like, we know the proper driving position.
Right. Didn't the old E60 M5 do that? If you put it in sport mode, it hugged you a little harder. And
I feel like there was a Mercedes that did that too, because I can't remember which one, but I was... Oh gosh, it was like
the SLs have those.
The SLs,
yeah.
The G63 that we have has the bolsters that push in on you.
That's what I'm thinking of.
You're taking a corner at 1.5 miles an hour, and it's it's just like, what is happening?
The massage seats are also practicing proctology.
Really?
Like those things go low, man. Seriously, yeah. Yep. Multiple settings too. Sheesh. Just saying. Watch out. Catch you off guard.
I had to laugh when we moved on to fancy here because I remembered my pick for fancy and also realized we kind of rounded the horn of the Kia Hyundai Genesis family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did.
But the new Santa Fe is kind of a fancy ordeal.
Really?
One of our teammates on shift put it, the Chapter 7 Range Rover.
Okay.
God, it is such a Land Rover Defender ripoff.
Yeah.
But they do it really well.
Okay.
Imitation is the best form of flattery, I suppose, and they do it really, really well. Just very nice place to sit, really nice interior.
What is it in size comparison to the Kia Telluride?
So the Santa Fe is a 2-row SUV generally.
Okay.
I think it can be optioned with a 3rd row, but it's a couple feet shorter.
It's smaller. Yeah.
But I think its platform mate would be like the Sorento in Kia land.
So does Hyundai offer a car that's similar to the Telluride?
The Palisade.
The Palisade.
Yep.
That's what I forgot about.
And was asking, actually, the people from Hyundai were there with us and was asking if they had an electric Palisade, and they definitely made a face that didn't say no. So
Okay.
you heard it here first.
Right.
Yeah.
Breaking Hyundai news on the Porsche podcast. But no, I mean, what an event, and thank you to the Rocky Mountain Automotive Press for putting it on. And Chris and I We used most of the trip to actually shoot photography. We did very little car reviewing while we were on it.
But I mean, that's the style of journalism that we do. I mean, we're a photography heavy magazine, and sometimes we have opinions about cars.
Well, we also got quite a bit of content that we'll write about, in the coming year.
Yeah.
As
So
well.
on the entire tour, how many cars were there?
I want to say probably about 25.
Wow.
It was in that ballpark, yeah.
A lot of electric this year. Big move to electric stuff.
And then what was the biggest disappointment for car?
Ooh,
Oh, it's
we're
just
gonna have
hard
the
to
same
disappoint
answer.
something. Are we going to have the same answer?
1, 2, 3.
Mercedes
EQE.
EQE, E or S, whichever one we had.
It just
It didn't
little
didn't warrant
spaceship
remembering its name.
Okay.
thing. I just found it unintuitive at its core. Like it drove fine, like it worked as a car, but just sitting down in it as someone who's sat in a lot of cars, I couldn't figure stuff out right away, and that I took that personally.
The menu system was infuriating.
Yeah.
And as we were driving down the road, like it was actually a little white knuckle. Chris had made me angry by taking the Santa Fe out from under me and driving through his hometown quickly, and I got stuck behind a tourist, and I was determined to catch Chris. And all of a sudden, I start feeling my seat moving, and I look over at the center console. It's like dynamic seat program enabled, because it's like trying to get you to work your joints. It's getting to the point where it's doing the fatigue relief. Except I've been in the car for 3 minutes, and my seat's like leaning back and forward, and it's like moving the lower seat.
That's
It was not my favorite car, Mercedes. So, if you're listening,
Yeah.
you can do better.
I got in a C43 that we had for a hot minute or whatever, and it was just a Move It.
Yeah.
And I was shocked at how much there is just on the steering wheel as far as controls go.
Oh yeah.
Where I get hands-free controls, and you want, volume and some menu controls. The spokes are now cut into two, so it's dual spokes on each side, and there's controls on each one of those spokes. Now, hands-free has become very complicated, right? And very distracting as far as to control things, whether it's on the instrument cluster or in the center radio, it's on the steering wheel, right? But because there's multiple rows of it now you have to take your eyes off of the road and look at the steering wheel instead. I think they've gone like too far, with that stuff.
You know what that reminds me of? Is you ever see the Pontiac Sunfire that the whole steering wheel is just buttons?
Those are great.
So good. Yeah. I would enjoy that. I don't think I would enjoy what you're just talking about, Justin.
Right.
But
Full circle moments.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. That sounds super cool. But this was over 2 days' time, you said?
yeah, this was 2 days' time up in Dillon. We drove up. We drove around the lake quite a bit, and we drove back down.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then they do it annually.
Yeah, so for folks in the Denver area that are in kind of the journalist space, which can be a lot of different things,
Sure.
They put this thing on, and it's really awesome part of being a member in the organization.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then I know, we're kind of running on time here, but is there anything in this issue of the magazine that you really wanted to make sure that was highlighted?
We got to talk Morgan Adams. For
I was
at
also
least
going to
a
say,
hot minute.
yeah. We'll just hit Morgan Adams really quick. I think this is a really important cause. For those unfamiliar, Morgan Adams is a organization that raises money to research a cure for pediatric cancer. And one of the events that they put on is their Concours d'Elegance at the
Nice.
Centennial Airport. Centennial Airport. And it's just like this really amazing gathering of cars and airplanes and motorcycles every single time. This was my second year doing it, and I was flabbergasted once again by the Bugatti that they had parked out right at the entrance when you get there. But I think the cool thing about this year is we were able to get some roof access for the air show.
Sure.
So it was nice getting like this aerial view of the whole show and like a little bit of a bird's eye view, then also seeing the airplanes go by unobstructed while I'm working with the camera.
We
was
creeped
kinda
on
nice.
John's family up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. that we did. But yeah, no, it's just a lovely evening of fundraising and cool vehicles. And then they followed that up on Sunday with the Cars and Coffee at the Sanctuary Golf Course.
The Sanctuary Golf
yeah.
Course.
Which beautiful backdrop for a Cars and Coffee. And once again, like some really amazing cars there too. But yeah, I mean, we're short on time, so I guess I'll just leave it at like it's worth checking out. Like it's absolutely worth the cost of entry to go and check out these cars and support a good cause.
Can buy tickets to it. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
But they can sell out.
They tend to sell out.
Yeah.
So it's good to get them ahead of time.
But you can buy tickets. You can buy a table.
Can buy a table.
Yeah, we're
you can
doing a table
buy all
next
kinds
year.
of things.
Yep.
And what a night! What did you guys think of the aerial demonstration this year?
I think they're fun. New
always good.
double rocket.
Double rocket.
The rocket powered glider. Got
Yeah,
an
the
upgrade.
glider that shoots fireworks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
That
pretty
was
cool.
quite a sight.
Yeah.
To me, even if all you were doing was paying to go get on a Gulfstream, that is worth it.
Oh,
Like
sure.
they had the Gulfstream G700 there. What a thing! Like, man, what? Yeah, just incredible.
I've still never made it on any of the jets.
Really? Well,
Same.
better do that.
Yeah.
Better do that.
I've been fortunate enough to be part of Morgan Adams for a number of years, and
We missed you this year.
used to take singers, to be for display, that kind of stuff. And the thing that I always was impressed by the most was not only the activities that are going on with the fundraising and the air shows and stuff, the people. The people are outstanding, right? People like us, right, that are just there to kind of check things out and hang out, but it's welcoming. Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are, what your net worth is, or whatever. Everybody's there for the same reason. And the conversation and running into clients and friends and all that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic event. Obviously, like it's a wonderful cause. But just being able to hang out, with the class of people that are there is really fun.
Yeah.
I did a confused one Ferrari owner. We were talking about his brand new, I don't know which model he had. But I went into Toyota conversation mode and I asked, so how many miles have you put on it? And he just kind of gave me a look. He's like, put miles on it? What are you talking about? So I thought that was just kind of funny. Yeah, no, I agree though. Like really great crowd, aside from the people who were walking in front of me while I was light painting. But aside from that,
You were having a good night at that point.
I was, yes, I
You were a
was.
little grumpy.
It was a long night.
And it's an open bar.
I have one image if there's something that we can end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Second to last page.
All right.
And we always end on this one. You guys know what's coming.
Awesome.
Yeah, that one. We want you.
We need help.
We
Right.
need help. But this is it's a community project that we all put together out of just love of cars, love of going and doing car things. The coolest thing about this is anyone can do it. We've all found things that we've grown into, talents we didn't have that we picked up as part of doing this. We just love getting new people kind of in with us and then with kind of the program and what we do. So I would encourage you, if you've ever had any interest in picking up a pen, writing about a car thing, taking pictures, you don't need a camera. I think the first 4 issues of this, I did everything with my phone. Camera helps. Good photographers are awesome, but just such an amazing project. And shout out to the folks who put this together and Marty for running it this time. Marty, if you're in there listening, you did a good job.
Thank you, Marty.
He might be listening.
I think they left.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left.
Yeah.
But
That's all I got.
All right.
Yeah, I think that was great. Thank
that
you
was
guys.
very good.
Thank you.
But as always, thank you guys for having us back
Yeah,
again.
we'll see you in a few months.
Yeah.
Unless you find a higher rated podcast, in which case we will understand. For everybody that is watching, we'll be back to Porsche content next week.
right.
I did. We'll talk a little bit about Macan EV training.
Excellent.
I think, and I get to drive a 992 GT3 RS, so I'll probably get to talk a little bit about that.
That's right.
So,
And happy belated anniversary to you, John. You've been here for 7
thanks.
years?
Yeah.
7 years?
7 years.
7 years and 8 days, roughly.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
I get more vacation now.
You do.
Try that.
Yeah.
Try that.
He's already put in for more time.
Yep.
I saw it.
It's true.
So that's like 2 days a year, right?
Pretty close. Yeah, pretty close.
So anyway, for the First Dibs podcast from inside Porsche Colorado Springs, I'm Justin.
I'm John.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Chris.
And thank you so much to our guests tonight. Have fun.